Hi guys, I'm going to talk about something I'm very passionate about, so I'm going to dive right in. We all wish we could use our work to shape the world around us and make it a better place, especially by doing the things that we're most passionate about. And I love to be the bearer of good news because we can. Yes, it's a thing. It's called Agorism. And naturally, this has to be my first video because how can you not appreciate such an innovative technology that anyone can participate in, and possibly the most effective protest against violence and government corruption, while also working towards spreading freedom and empowerment to all as a side effect of merely doing the things you love to do creatively. So I want to talk about what agorism is, its inestimable manifestations, reasons why it's such an empowering tool towards solutions, and a few examples of how it works in the real world. So I see a lot of people who really want to reach out and contribute their own part in ending this disgusting government corruption, but feel overwhelmed by this current political paradigm. And it's indeed challenging to find effective solutions. When you're dealing with the most violent and powerful pillar of humanity, you have to think outside the box. And the way I see it, there are really 4 options before us. Do nothing, not very effective. Try to change it from within, using voting and democracy, probably less effective. Tearing the system down through violence and rioting, again, that's not effective. That's their game, and they will win that game. So the 4th most pragmatic and viable option is building a new system that is so good that the current one becomes obsolete and inevitably collapses in on itself. It falls away. So it's time to transcend politics. It is said the secret of change is to focus all your energy not on fighting the old, but on building the new. And agorism is one of the most innovative tools for building the new and transcending the current political model. Agorism is using our economic individual power to create innovative, peaceful, and cheaper alternatives to the violent, wasteful nature of government. It is using effective non-political strategies to improve the state of mankind. It is harnessing the power of intelligence and economics as a strategy for change. It is unlike politics, and it transcends politics in the fact that it's something we can all participate in. There's a huge difference between political power and economic power. Political power is granted to so few, and it always comes through the use of force and the threatening of violence. When not exercised properly, which historically is barely ever, it ends in destruction, wastefulness, and disregard for human rights on massive scales. Economic power, on the other hand, is inherent in all of us. It is in every human interaction. Economic power is decentralized and molded by the people. It gives us equality in the sense that no person or group is able to use force on everyone or anyone else with it. It is strictly voluntary transactions between the parties involved. Everyone, you have economic power in your being, unlike political. And economic strategies can be used to solve any real problem that political power is currently dictating. Systematically, however, the economic solutions are going to be more peaceful and more efficient than the political ones. And as a direct example of this, concerning political power, the government is a monopoly on force, meaning every single thing that it does is through the use of force and the threatening of violence. It is a monopoly because it is the only institution that is morally allowed to do immoral things with no accountability. And because of these flaws, it has no feedback system. There are no consequences for its actions because whether it performs amazingly or terribly, at the end of the day, it's getting the same money and the same support. because it's forcing you to, on the account of if you don't, they're gonna lock you in a cage. So not only is the violence a flaw within itself, but the lack of feedback system it causes gives virtually no incentive for it to improve at all. On the other hand, in a business or an organization, they have to offer you something of value for you to voluntarily give them your money and your support. They can't just take it from you and threaten to kidnap you if you don't, like government does. So they have to be a lot more mindful of their service or their product, how they execute it, how they use their resources, because if they don't, they're going to lose money, they're going to lose their reputation, and ultimately they're going to lose their business because they have consequences. And unlike government, there's a lot of incentive for them then to provide good services as efficiently and as user-friendly as possible. And because of this, the free market has a built-in feedback system. And it's always improving through the drive of competition. And as a consumer, you have a lot more power in the market to influence things than you do as a subject of government. And economics shows us that rather than seizing control over your fellow human beings by force, it is more efficient, peaceful, and productive to do business with them in the market. Agorism builds a new system because it creates a decentralized economy based on consensual human actions of the people, all the while delegitimizing the need for this centralized hierarchical source of violence and authority. It delegitimizes it by essentially starving its economy that is so manipulated and rigged by special interests at this point, by no longer giving it your energy or your money. And furthermore, you are using that energy and that money to build something entirely new, a decentralized economy that is molded by the people and non-violent in nature. And those in power don't like that because they've used government as a tool to stay on top of everyone else for a very long time. Again, any problem that political power solves can be solved using economic power, more peacefully and more efficiently. And I just want to emphasize that we need not use violence for everything that we do. There are better options. In the age of the internet, instant communication, endless education, social media, perpetual decentralization of everything, alternative sources of news, individuals are more powerful than ever before, with so much capacity to really go out and change things. We are entering a whole new era of mankind, hopefully a peaceful and post-political one. So it's time for viable alternatives to the current outdated political model. Not only because as civilized beings we should like to be peaceful in our interactions with others, but even more so because economically this faulty, broken system of government allows for terrible inefficiencies, destruction, and an unfathomable waste of lives, resources, technology, money, all of these things ever representing human energy as a whole. So I want to talk about examples of agorism in depth in upcoming videos, but I want to mention briefly examples of how people can practice agorism. The founder of agorism, Samuel Calkins III, in the New Libertarian Manifesto, wrote that the 6 keys in agorism are entrepreneurship, self-sustainability, education, alternative currencies, direct action, and counter-economics. Agorism, to reiterate, is individuals offering the market better alternatives and solutions to destructive corporate and government actions that currently dominate and act as a barrier to conscious evolution of humanity, to be frank. Agorism is people taking responsibility and taking matters into their own hands rather than accepting the growing failures of government or passively trying to vote for change. And it's just as important to practice agorism as it is to have the knowledge of its theory. So some examples of agorism would be participating in the gray and black economy. So buying, selling, trading any product or service voluntarily under the table without the approval of government is agorism. So it's not that radical to have a yard sale without a business permit or without taxation. Using your passions to start an entrepreneurship, even if it's just a small hustle on the side, like blogging or selling skincare products or computer programming, hair cutting, tutoring, gardening, roofing, music, etc., independently without giving the government cut, is raw agorism. Using cryptocurrency like Bitcoin is agorism. Spending your money and resources mindfully to try to vote for the kind of world you want is way more effective than trying to vote for president. Another example of agorism is creating alternative sources of news when the mainstream media has become so obviously saturated in political lies. Getting involved in your community, volunteering time and effort locally to those in need is agorism. Being as independent as possible with everything, education, resources, medicine, etc., is agorism. And a really wide-scale appliance of agorism is creating startup societies, special economic zones, private cities, freedom cells, seasteads, all of these platforms where we create a new market of living together that brings competition to even existing nation states. And feel free to comment with any examples of agorism that you may practice, because I'm interested in hearing them and it's really inspiring. The individual power in you no longer has to be harnessed for the political powers that be. You have the ability within you to empower yourself and those around you. Humans are capable of solving complex problems, and we are certainly capable of overcoming a system that needs violence and force just to operate terribly, no less. The political power of government, as evil and as brutish as it may be, is mostly illusionary, built off of fear, ignorance, and above all, the economic value that you provided. That being said, it's inestimably powerful for you to direct your economic energy elsewhere strategically. So let's transcend politics and work towards real solutions. Thank you guys for listening, and I hope above all that I give you some food for thought. Thank you.